you just suppressed the truth. But I learned a lot. It says you need to be physically strong so others don't attack you, and it needs to be mentally strong so you don't attack yourself. Any work you do that constitutes to unrighteousness and ungodliness, your soul is already sold. Part of the, what they call Illuminati and all those other secret organizations. What it is, what it ain't. It's your boy Carlton with another video for anything, everything. Where I talk about anything I want, everything that comes to my mind. Today is part 2 for the Andrew Tate's interview. We're going to go straight into it, where he talks about his jail experience, media coverage, and everything like that. So let's dive straight into it.
But like, this is complete garbage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have endless stories from jail. It was certainly. I don't think jail teaches you much new. What it does is confirm everything you already know. It confirms everything you know about.
I don't agree with that. Anybody has watched any of my previous videos, you know that I was incarcerated at a point in time in my life as well. And jail is literally where I learned everything new. Like, it completely changed my mind. I wouldn't say confirm. I would say in some instances it does confirm some things you already knew. You just suppressed the truth. But I learned a lot. Especially being around older guys. Me being in jail when I was young, a lot of the older people gave me a lot of wisdom, regardless of, the things that they've done in their past, because they've learned from their mistakes. So I don't agree with that. I do feel like it does confirm some things, but if you're open-minded, you can learn some new things.
Reality of the outside world, that you need to be physically strong so that you're not attacked by others, and mentally strong so you're not attacked by yourself. You learn who's on your side and who isn't.
That is a top G quote. I don't even mean to pause it on y'all like that, but man says you need to be physically strong so others don't attack you, and it needs to be mentally strong so you don't attack yourself.
Learn who's a coward and who's not. You learn who's an opportunist and who isn't. Your circle, you certainly learn a lot about the people around you when you go to a jail cell, that's for sure. But I remember it was New Year's Eve.
People go ghost.
When I was first picked up on the 29th of December, I was very sure I'd be out 24 hours. So there's no way they're gonna keep me. For what? Like, this doesn't make sense. So finally New Year's Eve rolls around, and I'm sitting in the jail cell by myself. And in Romanian jail, you don't leave the room. It's not like an American jail where there's a yard or anything. You're stuck in the room. It's 3x4, and that's your existence. You just stay in the room.
Are you by yourself?
24 hours a day. At the beginning, I was by myself. And you're stuck in this room, and I'm sitting there. It's New Year's Eve, and there's a very faint speaker, maybe way down the hallway. The guards must have been having a little party for New Year's Eve. And there's this awful song. It's called the Ketchup song. I don't know if you know what it is. I don't want to sing it, but it goes, hey, hey, that super annoying song. And I'm sitting there, and I know it's New Year's Eve because the fireworks start going off. And I'm looking out my tiny window, and I can just hear in the very long distance from the end of the hallway, hey, hey. And I'm sitting there looking out the window like, this can't be it. This can't be the end of my life. Even the cockroaches all over the walls didn't celebrate. There was maybe 15 cockroaches on the walls, right? And when it struck 12 and the fireworks went off, I kind of like, well, who's my friends in here? The cockroaches. I looked at them, even they didn't move. I was like, well, that's New Year's. It's funny because before that, a couple days before that, me and Tristan were discussing, do we want to do New Year's in Dubai? Do we want to go Courchevel? Shall we go Miami? We're all arguing, oh, that will be boring. Now that's too far. We had all these grandeur plans. Oh, finally we decided to go to Dubai. We were in Czech Republic at the time, and we decided to go to Dubai, and I said, let's stop in Romania so I can repack a suitcase. So
that's it. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason. So jet left Prague, landed in Romania. My jet was still on the runway. Came here overnight to pack a suitcase, spent the night, spoke to Greta with the pizza box, and it's 5 a.m. they got me before I flew back to Dubai. So that was
the infamous Greta pizza box situation.
Greta pizza box.
How much you think there's anything linked to Greta? Is there anything?
They were saying that he was going after some girl named Greta Thunberg. I didn't really look into it too much, but she's one of those climate, what do they call her crap again? World climate change? I don't even know. But she's one of those people, and they are saying that, I guess, his argument going back and forth with her, in his video, they had a pizza box, and the pizza box confirmed that it was a pizza shop in Romania, which confirmed he was in Romania, which led them to arresting him. I don't know if that's true. how true it is, but that's what was speculating.
The timing of it.
Yeah, I don't think she specifically said that.
Of course.
But there are certainly people within the Matrix machine that you can't attack without catching flack for. There's certainly protected people. It's absolutely and utterly a club, and you're either in the club or you're outside of the club. She's certainly in the club, right? So if you say certain things about certain people, or you get a beef with X amount of people, or you discredit a certain person, they're going to try very hard to teach you a lesson for doing that. And you can see very clearly who's in the club and who isn't by the Philip Schofield situation. This is a man who has groomed boys and had sex with them, but he's in the club. All of the media headlines after 2 days are, let's have compassion, feel sorry for him, his mother's upset. They've attacked me for 14 months, day after day after day, and they relentlessly attack me. Nobody talks about my mental health. Nobody gives a shit how I feel. I didn't do any of the things he did. He's actually done things. I haven't done anything. But when you're in the club, you're protected by the media. When you're not in the club, you're attacked by the media. And that's how it simply works. You're either on our side or you're not. But to join their side, you have to sell your soul. Your sanity has a price. Your sanity.
Now, I hear what he's saying as far as selling your soul. But one thing I want people to understand is the second you do any work for the devil, your soul is already sold. Any work you do that constitutes to unrighteousness and ungodliness, your soul is already sold. Now, even for me, shoot, if somebody was to ask me, is Andrew Tate's soul is sold, I would say yes. Why? Because when it comes to the topic of women, you know, he's a person that agrees on having multiple women. That's unrighteousness, that's ungodliness. He preaches Islam. Shoot, that's unrighteousness, that's ungodliness, because it's a false religion. So me personally, I would say anything or anyone that promotes unrighteousness and ungodliness has sold their soul. Anybody that spread lies, anything like has sold their soul. They don't have to be part of the, what they call Illuminati and all those other secret organizations, rappers. I don't care. Anybody that promotes ungodliness and unrighteousness has sold their soul. Now, as far as what he was saying about this Philip Schofield person, I don't know who that is, but I don't even have to look into it to know that they're telling the truth, because that's exactly what the media would do. A man that convicted for grooming and molesting boys, now they're talking about have compassion on him. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It's for sale. You have to sell it. You have to come along with your sanity, take out your mind and say, here you go, take my sanity, I'll take 35 million. Yes, that is a woman. Yes, protect me. It's insane. And the reason these people join these clubs is because they know they're doing bad things and they feel that they need protection. The reason I stand up and argue against all this shit is because I know I don't have skeletons in my closet. You think I'd be on the internet talking like I talk and fighting the Matrix if I had skeletons in my closet, if I was actually a bad person? I've been investigated as deeply as a person can be investigated by multiple federal agencies for 14 months. I was locked in a jail cell and 2,000 people I know was called. My barber, my old housekeeper from when I lived in England 9 years.
If you think about it, that's true. Because as hard as it's been going on him, all you've been hearing so far is allegations. And I've even heard to the point where they started calling people that he knew and would bribe them to say like, hey, do you have anything bad to say against Andrew, or whatever the case may be. So he is right about that. They've been on him for forever, and all you've been hearing so far is accusations. Nothing foolproof evidence yet.
Ago. My gardener I used to have in another country I lived in. Everybody was called. And people were offered bribes effectively. The media are calling girls saying, if you have a bad story to tell about Andrew, we can pay you $30,000 if you have a bad story. That's a bribe. That's a bribe. And they still couldn't find anyone. Still. I've been investigated to a deeper level than 99.9% of people you'll cross on the street. And they're saying I'm guilty and I'm a bad person.
Everybody got skeletons
Go
in their
get 20
closets.
men off the street and put them through what I've been through. You'll find more crimes than you've ever found with me. Absolute clown world. It's insane. And if I was part of the club, none of this would be happening. The media would be on my side. They wouldn't be hitting me this hard. They wouldn't be lying about me. All I had to do was sell my soul and sell my sanity, and I refused. And they're trying to punish me for it. That's what's happening.
It's funny you say this. When we watched the BBC interview with Musk, right? And he goes up and the guy opens up the question with, why'd you agree to do this interview? He says, well, I don't know, what's the name of the BBC? And he's trying to mock them and all this stuff. And there's a part of it where, you know, he calls them out for the mistakes they made. Yeah. And if you go to the bottom of the interview on BBC, you'll see comment section saying, why'd you cut that out? Because Musk puts it on Twitter, but they didn't put it in the interview.
That boy Elon Musk,
then you watch the interview with you. The first question they ask you was, What's the first question? Hey, you've been accused of
Serious crimes.
rape or something like that. Right off the bat, they asked that question of you. And then you see the interview, Lucy Williamson, I believe, her first question was, you're facing some very serious allegations. Have you raped anybody? That's the open question that they ask you. And the video they put up, the first one, they take it down. The second video they put up, this 12 minutes, like the highlight one, they turn, the comment section is open. There's 80,000 plus comments there. Then you look at Philip Schofield. Yeah. And you just brought up Philip Schofield. For people that don't know who Philip Schofield, do you mind explaining to people who he is?
Yeah, he was a TV presenter in England. He was very famous. He ran the morning show. And he was grooming children for a very long time. And all the staff knew about it. And the people who worked on the show with them were being groomed by him. And everybody knew it was all a big joke. And now he's come out saying, oh, please don't pick on me. I feel sad. And the media is saying, I'll leave the guy alone.
He is, when you go look up his Wikipedia, it says he rose to prominence as children's BBC continuity presenter from 85 to 87. Yep. Then went on to do programs on BBC and ITV for Going Live, This Morning, Dancing on Ice, All-Star Mr. and Mrs., The Cube, and a bunch of other things. And they interview him, okay? While he's going through the mess, after 27 years of being married, this one guy that he groomed since 10 years old, his name is McGreevy, I want to say, something McGreevy, that he's going through the process. Matthew McGreevy, they met at 10 years old at a theater group. At 15 years old, Philip follows him on Twitter. While the kid is 15, he follows him on Twitter. The guy celebrates it. Long story short, Ruth Langsford, they work together with. She files a complaint. Then right after filing the complaint, McGreevy gets fired. Then he has to take a break. Then he comes out after 27 years telling his wife, and hey, I'm gay, I'm coming out of the closet. He's got 2 daughters. But there's a part of it where Matthew calls his wife and says, hey.
Yo, Matt, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like that has to be the most ultimate embarrassment for a woman. Imagine you're not only married to a man, you give the man kid, and then the man come out talking about, I like men. On top of that, he's been grooming boys. But that's
your husband and I had an affair together when I was 19 the first time and 20 and all. Yeah. Nobody knows if it was before or not. The interesting thing about him is his brother, Timothy Schofield, I don't know if you know about his brother.
Oh, what, the one who's in jail for being a pedophile?
Was convicted of 11 sexual offenses involving a child between October 2016 and 2019, including 2 sexual activity with a child. Here's how the interview started. First question, the guy asked him, he says, you've had quite a week. How are you? Opening question versus the question they ask you on the opening, right? And then he turns around and says, the media's interest in the affair was motivated partly because of homophobia, alleging that an affair with a much younger woman would have not generated such a scandal. So he gets protected. Yep. And he says, all those people who write those stuff, do they ever...
You want to know so funny about media? It's funny to me how the people that the media attacks blames the media or talks bad about the media. And then even the people the media protects blames the media or talks about the media. Everybody got something to say when it comes to the media. But anybody with eyes to see can see that there's an agenda at play, propaganda. You mean to tell me a person that's, literally convicted and seen, they have proof, and people are saying, yeah, this guy, did this to me, and you come out, your first question is, are you okay? And then you have Andrew Tate, who's no evidence has been brought against him, only allegations. And then the first question you ask him, so, heard you're a rapist, heard you did some things, be for real.
That there's actually a person on the other end, right? This is proven. By the way, this is the part where even when somebody's watching you and saying, why are they taking him to court? Maybe he did something. Why are they taking Trump to court? Maybe he did something. Why are they taking this guy? He must have done something. There must have been something there, right? It's stuff like this BBC does. If BBC are watching this right, I want to kind of remind you of your mission statement that you have on your website. We're going to put the link below to your mission statement. You can go find it. Here's what your mission statement is, BBC. This is why you've lost some credibility the last couple of years. To act in public interest, serving all audiences through the provision of impartial, keyword impartial, high quality and distinctive output and services which inform, educate, and entertain. You say you inform, educate, you entertain, yet you conceal, misinform, and your content's quite frankly boring. You're cherry picking on people that you're talking to. So a message like that gets the average person to say, everything with you is allegedly, everything he did is proven. His brother is proven. Yet, let's leave him alone. Poor guy. Let's target him. This is where their argument has leaks in it. Somebody like you can tear it up.
Absolutely. Philip is part of the club, and I'm not. And this is the thing. I'm a mentally resilient person, right?
They say if you
14
can't, if
months
you
they've
ain't
attacked
gang,
me.
you can't
I'm
hang.
not going to sit and complain about that because that's not how I operate as a man. 14 months they've complained about me. If you type Romania, human trafficking, you type in any of these things, my name comes up, my face, I'm a bad person. I've lost all my bank accounts. I've lost all my social media accounts. I've been vilified all across the matrix in every single possible way. They print my face every single day with something negative next to it daily. Nobody gives a shit about my mental health, right? Because I'm the enemy. And what's scary about this is Lucy Williamson herself, she was begging me for an interview. The BBC were begging me for an interview. I don't need any of these people. The only reason I even sat down with the BBC is because they were begging me. I can go and just say my own words and get plenty of views, right? But the whole time I was in jail, they're begging me for an interview. Can we speak to him on the phone? Maybe you can give an interview from jail. Can we have an interview? Please, 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 please. And I was saying, why do I want to talk to the BBC? And the BBC were saying, no, we don't want to do a hit piece. We want to come across, we want to be impartial.
This is what they're telling
This is what they're telling me. We want to be impartial. We believe there's a side of the story that hasn't been told. We're really interested in some of the, let's say, what's the word? I don't want to get this wrong. Inconsistencies in the Romanian justice system. We're very interested in his side of the story. There's been enough hit pieces. We want to tell the other side. We want to hear Andrew Tate's story. And I said no, on repeat. Then they sent me a list of questions. I didn't even ask for a list of questions. That's not who I am. I don't have to script. I never asked for a list of questions. They sent me a list of questions. Here's what we're going to ask. It's about his mental health. It's about the Romanian justice system. It's about the fact he hasn't been charged. His liberty's been deprived. All this stuff. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe it's a bit interesting. And the Matrix is obviously printing lies about me. And these are some interesting questions from the Matrix for the first time ever. Okay. They walk in here all smiles and happy, all smiley faces trying to take me off guard. I already had my list of questions, right? It's all going to be nice and easy. I sit down, and they instantly attack me. They put the cameras on first, and they attack me, expecting me to stutter and make a fool of myself. It's kind of like they tried to sucker punch me. I'm in the club, and they're my friends shaking my hand, and they tried to hit me and knock me out. And this is the thing that's so amazing about it. Yes, I destroyed the BBC. But of course I did, because I'm smarter than all of them. But why should I have to rely on my wit and intellect to destroy BBC with their research team and their plan? Their deliberate plan to try and...
So they said something and they ain't own up. We all know that the media is full of liars, snakes, and just bottom feeders, the lowest of the barrel. Them people do not care. They said these are our questions we're going to ask you, and I bet they did not ask him a single question that they told him they were going to ask him. It's a shame. And what makes it a real shame is even when you have the proof, even if you're someone that don't agree with his message, with his views, if you don't have, I think the cognitive dissonance to just separate the two, to say, okay, I don't agree with Andrew Tate, but I also realize that he's proven that the media is to be a liar, and I shouldn't believe them as well. But people are not doing that. People always feel like they have to take sides. Let's just be honest and say, hey, they're both messed up. You know, they're both wrong, and it's a shame that this is the state this world is in, where the media has to try to pull tricks out their sleeves like that to catch them off guard. And then what makes it worse is for them to do that, and then for him to, like he said, annihilate them. It's a shame. Now they're going to come back even harder. Now they're going to get more tricks up their sleeve, trying to catch them, whatever the case may be, trying to paint a false image, whatever the case may be. But there's so much more that is talked in this interview. If you guys want to follow along with the journey of only really focusing on the meat and the bones of this interview, because they do talk about a lot of other things that really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. Go ahead, like, subscribe to this video, turn the notification bell on so you can be notified whenever a video drops. Continue to support. There's so much more content on the way, so much more videos, so much more knowledge. As you guys know how I like to give out some game. So see you guys next time. Peace.